right. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Shout out to everyone in the chat. Happy St. Patty's Day, by the way. Surprised y'all aren't boozing. But that's okay. I'm glad you're here with me today. Absolutely ecstatic. Got a lot of news to talk about. I mean, again, I didn't think there was shit popping off, but there has been. There has been today. Not a lot of marquee, like, big-time signings, but some, you know, middle-of-the-pack signings that I think we can all agree with that they're decent, right? Got some Marcus Mariota news, some Mike Gesicki news. You guys have probably heard about most of it, but we're going to dive in through it here in just a few moments, see if more people pop in. But until then, let's see who's all in the chat so far. Rules and boxing. What's going on? What is going on? What's good, boxing? Appreciate you. Yeah, I did. I picked up a little bit on that rules with what Byron Murphy said about the Arizona Cardinals and that he's glad to be here. He reached out to Jordan Hicks, who was what was it? He was a captain for the Arizona Cardinals just a year ago or a year or two ago, something like that. Pat P, obviously a longtime Cardinal, will go down in their Hall of Fame or their Ring of Honor. Talked to him too, and they said he's glad to be here where the culture is headed in the right direction, if that makes sense. And on Tanyan, Robert Tonyan gets picked up, I believe, was it Chicago? Let me look at my notes. Just throwing stuff around right now. Bruh, what happened? Where did that go? Robert Tonyan, I believe he went somewhere else. Robert Tonyan. Chicago Bears, yep, popped up instantly. Yeah, so Robert Tonyan signs with the Chicago Bears. They've made a crazy amount of moves so far this offseason. I'm telling you, a crazy amount. But they also, I mean, it makes sense. They had the most salary cap, you know, in the league. In the league. Sounds good, rules. About a half hour. Okay, we're planning to go for about an hour today. At least an hour. At least. No drinking for boxing today. Driving in the morning. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, you can have a few. You can have a few. Wait. Boxing, are you Irish? There was somebody that was Irish. Or from there. Or something like that. How do you guys celebrate St. Patty's Day? If I'm correct. If I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. And we'll move on. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Okay. So I bet you just... Oh. So you're not going all out. It is what it is, man. I'm not either. I gotta work at 7 a.m. I gotta work at 7 a.m. So... Doesn't mean I'm not gonna have a few brujas. Trust me, I'm gonna. Ooh, I like that. Pat P, Hicks, and Murphy would have been the three musketeers on the D. Absolutely. Too bad we lost Pat P. No alcohol in your apartment. Go buy yourself a case, rules. You got 30 minutes to stay on the stream. Get off, go buy some booze, and celebrate accordingly. Be safe, be smart, and have fun. The XFL game went decent. By the end of it, I was pulling my hair out. I mean, I was so tired. I was beat. I was like, God damn. And it wasn't great. Like it wasn't a game that you were like, oh, I need to watch this. At first, it kind of felt like that. But then it was 15-0 basically the entire game, and I think it ended like 15-6 or something. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the final score. But Houston ends up losing. They were undefeated, 3-0 going into that game, or 4-0 going into that game. They lose to the Seattle Sea Dragons. And I think I got off stream about 12:30-ish, 12:15-ish, or whatever. So it was a blast, but yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Wait, what? There's a UFC pay-per-view tomorrow? What am I missing? What am I missing? I thought it wasn't until April. Maybe I'm thinking about... No shit. Excuse my French, but Okay. Leon Edwards, Kamara Usman tomorrow. Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, or I said that wrong. That's going to be a good fight. I like that fight. God, the fight's leading up to it. Oh, Bam Bam. Bam Bam's in there. Okay. Hey, that's all right. I mean, rules. I am, especially on the weekends. Saturday night, whoa. And then Sunday night too. If I don't work Monday, game over. Which I don't work Monday. Fun fact. I like to stay up about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock's basically the point where I'm like, okay, time to shut it down. Let's go to bed. But you know. Yeah, bro, rules. There's streams for that. There are streams for that. I could say it on here, but I'm not gonna. There's a good one that I use. It's like stream something. That's all I'm gonna say. But you can definitely stream it. 1,000,000%. Yes, they do. Promise. I promise you they show the fight. It's about 10 seconds behind, though. There you go. Boxing just gave you it. Stream, and then what boxing just said. That is what you use. .to or .xyz or .live, excuse me. One of the two. Yeah, you can figure it out. Trust me. No, it's not WWE. Like, they don't do that for WWE. But anyways, let's get to business, shall we? Let's get this music. I guess we can just go like this. Bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully the mics sound a lot better. Hopefully. I turned the gain up a little bit, which I think it'll work a lot better. I want to say. But all right. A lot of news to dive through today. A lot has happened. Not big moves, but there's some decent moves here. Vikings made a move. Literally every team made a move. I mean, a lot of releases, re-signings. There was a retirement yesterday. Nazir Adderley, 25, wants to put his mental health first, his health in general first. We heard about that. We talked about the the OBJ sweepstakes and where he potentially might end up. There's still a market for him, but I think that's not going to happen until maybe after the draft, so that teams can evaluate where they are, because apparently OBJ wants a lot of money, and I don't know if teams are necessarily willing to give him the amount of money they want. There was rumors like 20 mil a year. Like, I don't know, pal. I mean, cool beans. You had that little stint there in New York, but when you went to Cleveland, you were dropping balls left and right. Then you went to Los Angeles because you wanted to chase a ring. What'd you do? You ended up tearing your ACL and probably actually on his way to a Super Bowl MVP. Okay, so he has that argument. He is greedy, a little bit. But he wants his money. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. However, you have to look at it like, is he going to stay healthy? What's his production going to be like? That's why the New York Jets seems like a good fit. They just get rid of Braxton Berrios. They signed Alan Lazard. They still have Elijah Moore, I believe, is still on the table. You're looking at, who else is over there? Garrett Wilson. But then you put OBJ in the mix, and then if Aaron Rodgers comes over via the trade, that's probably going to happen, which is still in the works. That team is unbelievable. I think it would work out perfect. Exactly. He knows teams need a big time wide receiver. Miami could use something. But I mean, that plane incident, I think that's all a bunch of BS. When I seen the video, it looked like the man was just tired, half asleep. Like, they woke him up from his nap. Yeah, he might have been dazed, but have you ever woke up and be like, where am I? What's going on? I think we all have, right? So I think that whole incident was I think that was just overplayed, and the reality of it was that he was probably just tired. I mean, he's an NFL athlete. He works constantly. He's working out. He's grinding. He's catching flights left and right. I mean, can you blame the man? It didn't seem right to me, but it is what it is. I don't think that's the case there, A-Rules. If he wants $20 million, he can kick rocks. I am not paying him $20 million. Neither should Kwesi. But, I mean, it's cool to think. If it happens, it happens. No way we're going to trade for D-Hop, which I just seen his top two potential landing spots are the New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens would be interesting, right? Because they have the whole Lamar Jackson situation where he's kind of figuring out what he wants to do. Or not really what he wants to do. He's just seeking a big contract, and the Ravens didn't want to give it to him, stuck the unrestricted free agent tag on him so that he has the ability to go speak freely to other teams. One of those teams, whoever he speaks to, has the opportunity to lay down an offer sheet for however much, and if he likes it, Baltimore can either match that deal, or Baltimore can say, yeah, all right, you can have him, and then you guys have to give us 2 first-round picks. But if you find a way to get DeAndre Hopkins in the building, what are you going to do at quarterback? What are you going to do at quarterback? I think they also put the free agent tag on, or the franchise tag on Tyler Huntley, if I'm not mistaken, but he also might be shipped out of the building as well. So, like, Baltimore's in a really weird situation. D-Hop to New England, though, makes a lot of sense. Right. We did pay $80 million for Kirk, but at the same time, like, it's Lamar Jackson. We ain't playing no games here. You're going to give this man what Deshaun Watson got or more. That's what I'd pay him. Dude's won an MVP. Dude's won a playoff game, been to Pro Bowls. A lot better than Deshaun Watson, I'd say. Right? So, Lamar wants to get his money. And he deserves it. But you bring DeAndre Hopkins in the mix, I think he turns it around real quick. I'll come to Baltimore. You give me a weapon. Like D-Hop? Absolutely. Absolutely. So that whole sweepstakes is still happening. But there is more going around in the NFL. And we're going to start basically from what happened earlier today and then move our way basically to what is currently happening. We'll hit the old Twitter at the very end of it. No news on Cam Newton, probably will never be. I don't see him back in the NFL. I think he's done. He's doing his business outside of the NFL and making money that way. So, but there is news on a different quarterback. There is news on a different quarterback coming out of the Falcons camp and Eagles camp. This is a big signing earlier this morning where we found out that obviously Gardner Minshew is no longer going to be the backup in Philadelphia. They decided to part ways. Gardner Minshew ends up in Indianapolis. So the next question was, who's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles' next backup quarterback? However, they have found the man per Adam Schefter. Former Falcons quarterback Marcus Mariota reached an agreement with the Philadelphia Eagles on a 1-year, $5 million deal worth up to $8 million per source. Mariota is expected to be the Eagles' number 2 quarterback this season. I like this signing. I think it's smart by the Philadelphia Eagles for the sole fact that, hey, Jalen Hurts, Marcus Mariota, there's a little difference between them, but they both got wheels. So that means they don't have to change their offense up at all. Okay? If Jalen Hurts somehow ends up going down, which we don't wish upon anybody, he gets hurt, Marcus has to step in, the offense really doesn't have to change at all, right? Because we've seen what Marcus can do. Former number 1 overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. It was either him or Jameis. I think Marcus was the first overall pick, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a good signing by the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You don't have to change anything. It helps your roster out a little bit. Marcus struggled in Atlanta, but you're going to struggle when you have Tom Brady in your division, plus when you have a team that's just booty cheeks. Am I right? So this one's a good one. It suits the Eagles. It's a cheap deal, 1 year, $5 million. That gives Marcus the opportunity or another opportunity to basically showcase his skills in camp, potentially get another starting opportunity in, the next couple years or whatever. Or he just re-signs with Philadelphia on a long-term deal, 2-3 years as their backup quarterback. That would make a lot of sense, but you never know. I like this move by Philly. 1 year, $5 million for Marcus Mariota. Big time signing. Big time signing. For real, A-Rules. I can see your comment on my Streamlabs, even though you deleted it. So, but I like it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. In other news, we have another signing that happened earlier today. This one's a pretty decent one, if I have to say so myself. Once I get this pulled up here. The Seattle Seahawks are signing another. You didn't see him as a Falcon? He was decent. Not great by any means. I mean, we've seen Desmond Ridder come in at the end of the year and do his thing. But yeah, Marcus Mariota, longtime Titan, didn't quite work out there, got shipped out. But let's move forward. Per Ian Rappaport, there was another signing this morning. The Seattle Seahawks are signing former Steelers first-round linebacker Devin Bush to a one-year deal. Source said he has been on a visit to Seattle, and they officially are going to sign him. Not really sure on the compensation for this for this player. Currently, as it sits, I haven't seen anything that's popped off. Still nothing on that front, but it is a one-year deal for Devin Bush, who had a pretty decent season last year. Actually, he's had a pretty decent career all four years that he's been in the league, right? First year, 109 tackles, 2 interceptions, had a sack. Second year, 26 combined tackles, 1 sack. He probably got hurt that year. In 2021, 70 combined tackles, 2 sacks. And then last year, he had 81 combined tackles, no sacks. So he started to get back to where he started in his career, trying to find his mojo again. But this is a great signing for the Seattle Seahawks. One thing that makes me kind of wonder is, does this mean Bobby Wagner sweepstakes are completely over and done with for a potential reunion, right? Bobby Wagner leaves, goes to the Los Angeles Rams after Seattle decides to cut him suspiciously. Like, it didn't make any sense to me at the time because they got rid of Russell. They traded Russell Wilson, and then bam, Bobby Wagner's gone. Like, okay, what's happening here? Is it a full rebuild? What's the case? But now with their signing of Devin Bush, I don't know if there's a chance that Bobby Wagner signs back with the Seattle Seahawks. I really don't. I think he finds a new home elsewhere. I don't know where that's going to be. If it's Detroit, please God, no. I don't want that. But it would be good for Detroit, obviously. There's other teams that he could probably re-sign with the Rams. Maybe, unless they released him. But there's plenty of other. Come to Minnesota, Bobby. Come to Minnesota. That is all we need. But Devin Bush, 1-year contract. Not sure of the compensation quite yet with the Seattle Seahawks. A decent signing for them, I would say so myself. So shout out to Devin Bush and getting a massive payday, at least for 1 year. Yeah, Vikings for real, A-Rules. I would love it. Absolutely love it. Shout out to everyone watching, by the way. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook and you hear me read something off, it's probably because I'm talking to my YouTube chat. So if there's some confusion, why isn't that loading? It says I have 0. And I got 6 in here. Okay. So what's going on? There we go. It popped up. Finally. About time. All right. We got 7 in here. But shout out to everyone, man. Shout out to everyone. Let's get down to business. I believe we're only 3 subs away from 240. So that'd be fantastic if we could hit 240 tonight. We're 2 subs away. Excuse me. I lied. Whoops. Let's move forward. A massive signing this morning, which I was completely blindsided by. I didn't expect this to happen, but it was a big one. It was a decent move. New England continuing to be New England and locking up some tight ends. You guys have probably already heard about this one, but it is official per Field Yates, Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero. You'll see it right here. Bam. Let's read down Adam Schefter, start from the bottom. Former Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki is signing with the New England Patriots per source. He was recruited by Bill O'Brien to play his college ball at Penn State. Now they are reunited in New England. If you don't know, Bill O'Brien, head coach, GM of the Houston Texans, leaves the NFL because he completely put the Texans in turmoil, ends up going back to Alabama to be their offensive coordinator where he originally was before entering the NFL. Then he finds his way back in New England as their offensive coordinator because last year with Matt Patricia and was it Matt Rule or whatever, they kind of had to figure it out and it wasn't great. All right, so Bill O'Brien, new offensive coordinator, lands Mike Gesicki, who was in his college days or his coach during his college days. Mike Gesicki's contract with the Patriots is for 1 year and up to $9 million per source. That's Field Yates, a unique red zone threat for Mac Jones with his massive catch radius. Also, the dude's fast as shit. Okay, quick as hell. I love him. He's a receiver. Remember last year, I believe it was, when we were actually going live all the time and we stopped doing that. We went to more videos and stuff. There was talks of him being super pissed because he got franchise tagged and he tried to overrule it. He's like, whoa, no. Like, you're going to give me a contract. I'm not going to play on the franchise tag. It's just not how it is. So they offered him a contract. However, it was a contract for a tight end. Mike Gesicki said, no, okay? I'm not only a tight end, but I'm a wide receiver as well. I do both. And there was like this weird stat where it showed where he lined up on the field the entire season, like how many snaps he took in the slot, how many snaps he took at tight end, how many snaps he took out wide, and it was completely obvious that he's not just a tight end. Okay, he's not. He's a wide receiver and a tight end. More of a tight end, obviously, because that's his position, category. But he plays like a wide receiver as well. He's quick. He's elusive. He has a massive catch radius. New England Patriots got a steal here, an absolute steal here. Gesicki's going to go rejuvenate his career. He got out of Miami. I don't know what happened down there, but I don't think the front office really liked him too much. I could be completely wrong, so if I am, let me know on that situation if there's any Miami Dolphins fans here. But Mike Gesicki ends up with New England. Now, New England loves their tight ends, right? We're not going to talk about one of them, but he was a dog at one point, and that didn't turn out so pleasant. Aaron Hernandez, obviously. If you haven't checked out his Netflix special, I believe it is, go watch it. Phenomenal. You will thank me later. But then they go with Rob Gronkowski, Gronk, as we all know him, absolute stud. They were with Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith the last couple seasons. Didn't quite work out. Hunter Henry was finding a groove, getting things done. I believe he's still with the organization. If I'm not, I want to say he's still with the New England Patriots. But Mike Gesicki is now a New England Patriot as their tight end. I'm not sure if he's going to be number one, but let's look at his stats real quick. Let's go take a gander at his stats. You're looking at, okay, so last year he kind of fell off a little bit. 32 catches, 362 yards, averaged 11.3 a catch. Dude, okay. One stat that really pops out here, in all 5 years that he's been in the NFL, he's had, or except for his rookie year. His rookie year, he had 9.2 yards per catch. Every single year after that, so the last 4 years, he's averaged over 10 yards. Actually, over basically 11 yards per catch, or a little over. That's phenomenal, right? He's not just a short threat. He's going to get those medium. He's going to get you a first down, basically every time you throw him the ball. Okay, only 362 yards last year, 5 tutties, 780 in 2021 with 2 tutties. 703 yards in 2020 with 6 tutties. So you're going to get good production out of Mike Gesicki for New England. And with Mac Jones, too. Check down quarterback's going to like his tight ends, especially if he's a dog like Mr. Mike. That's a good question. I'm not really sure who's going to take his place in Miami. If we look at Miami Dolphins depth chart real quick, that will tell us who their backup is. And I could have looked at this earlier, but I declined not to. So Durham Smythe, they're going to draft one. They ain't going to roll with Durham unless he's a dog, but I don't think. Yes, the Patriots badly need him, like in a big way. So that's a good signing, but Miami's kind of screwed on that front. But I think there's some decent tight ends, not the greatest ones in the world, but yeah, me neither. I think he played a couple games last year, had a couple catches if I'm not mistaken. But hey, New England finds a damn good tight end in Mike Gesicki. Let's go. Shout out. Good signing overall. We have a restructure also in the works. The Packers have restructured Rasul Douglas's contract. This actually saves them about $3.3 million in cap space. So it makes you wonder what they're potentially going to do with all that money. They've lost a couple key pieces. Aaron Rodgers is about to leave. Maybe they're in on the OBJ sweepstakes. Maybe they're in on the DeAndre Hopkins potential trade. So here's what could happen. Here's what I'm thinking could definitely happen is Aaron Rodgers traded to the Jets. The Jets send them whatever they can, right? Elijah Moore, or maybe it's a first-round pick and a second-round pick, or whatever the case may be. Green Bay then, in turn, turns those draft picks, sends them to Arizona to get D-Hop. Because if you don't remember, right, D-Hop was traded for a bag of bones. I think it was like a second-round pick for D-Hop. Not even a first. So if Arizona only had to trade a second, no way is somebody going to trade a first for D-Hop. And if they do, that means they badly want him. So I could see that scenario. Not really sure what's going to happen with Green Bay other than they got a lot of rebuilding to do. They got to find more receivers. I guess not really. Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, excuse me. Need to find a new tight end, even though I have Josiah DeGuara, I believe is how you say his name. So, yep. they got some moves to be made. We'll see what happens on that front. Packers restructure Rasul Douglas contract, saving about $3.3 million in salary cap. All right, another big signing. Sort of. Dak Prescott takes a pay cut. Zeke Elliott is gone. What is next on the Dallas Cowboys front? Well, they decided to lock up their backup quarterback, who was the same guy as last year per Ian Rappaport. Dak's backup is back. The Cowboys are signing quarterback Cooper Rush. Source says it's a 2-year deal for $6 million max. First year and signing bonus fully guaranteed. The passer who ripped off 4 straight wins in 2022 returns. Rush was represented on the deal by Chris Cabot of Equity Sports. Probably said his last name wrong. Sorry about it. Again, this one's good. I like it. Cooper Rush, Cooper Cush, whatever you want to call him. He's pretty decent, if I do say so myself. 4 straight wins for this man last season for the Dallas Cowboys because he had to come in due to a Dak Prescott injury. He had 1,051 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, QBR of 80 at that time. Okay, so nothing spectacular. Perfect backup stats. That is all he needed to do. He went in there and won them ball games. That is all at the end of the day that you ask for a quarterback to do. There was even talks of him potentially taking over the starting role, moving on from Dak. Is Cooper the guy? He's won 4 straight. What are we doing? Let's not rush Dak in there. Well, they did. They had a pretty good season, made the playoffs, I believe. But not terrible. Not terrible. I like this signing. It's good for Dallas to kind of keep familiar faces in the building. So there was another signing, Cooper Rush, back to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, we need to sign the Duke. I agree. I would love it. I think he has 1 more year left, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has 1 more year left on his contract or his current deal, and then it expires. But I want to re-sign him. He has to have a decent year. No, do we have him? Duke Shelley. Hold on. If not, bring this man back. He's a free agent. Okay. 26 years old. He's a stud. He basically said, I'm a bet on me, and you should. 31 combined tackles last year. 1 interception. He's only been in the league for 2 years. Bro, bring this dude back in the building. What are we doing? I agree. Like, we need depth at the cornerback position unless we're going to draft another one like we have the past 10 years. I mean, I'd be okay with it, but I want Duke Shelley. I've seen what he can do. He's aggressive at the point of attack. I mean, he's a dude. He's a ball hawk. I like him on the logo. Yes. Give me Duke Shelley back. I want Duke Shelley back ASAP. Absolutely ASAP. All right, another interesting move that happened. This isn't a signing. This isn't a restructure. This is kind of big news coming out of the Cincinnati Bengals camp after they just signed Orlando Brown, I believe. Yeah, in the wake of signing Orlando Brown, we'll just bring up this tweet per Ian Rappaport. In the wake of the Orlando Brown signing, Bengals offensive tackle Jonah Williams has requested a trade through his agent Ryan Tolner, sources say. Just 25 years old with 47 career starts at left tackle, protecting Joe Burrow. Williams, who's that? Jonah Williams, okay, becomes the top tackle available if Cincy is willing to move on. That is massive news. This rarely happens. You rarely see a high marquee, talented player, especially on the offensive line, go and ask for a trade. It happens, obviously, quite a bit more than we think. But Jonah Williams is a dog. I like what he brings to the table. Anyone would be ecstatic to get him. He played over 1,000 snaps, which is 10th in the league last year. Penalties wise, let's see. It's going to show me. I'm looking at PFF real quick. Why do I have to sign up? That's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Okay, there we go. He only had four penalties. Okay, damn. So he's tied for first with sacks allowed. He allowed 12 sacks. Not great. He got a 61.2 grade. But, I mean, I don't know. He's decent. I think he just needs the right organization to put him back on the right track. You know what I mean? Because I think he was fine. Where did he go before this? Where was he before this? Or was he only in Cincy? Yeah, he's only been in Cincy. Get out of there. Get out of there, man. Find yourself a new home. Well, I don't know. Cincy might be all right, though. I think they're going to be just fine because they got Orlando Brown who can replace Jonah Williams. It just makes a whole bunch of sense, and maybe that's why they signed Orlando Brown in hopes that they could keep Jonah Williams, but maybe make him the backup. Jonah smelled the fugazi in all of that and said, nope, I'm out. Give me a trade, and we'll see if they want to, if they're willing to. If they do, there's another left tackle that is ready to rock and roll on the market. Teams can go take a look at him, bring him to the Vikes. Okay, we need a right guard. Hey, we can move him. We can move him to right guard. I'd be just fine. I'd be fine with that. Wouldn't you, A-Rules? Wouldn't you? Jonah Williams? I think that'd be pretty sweet. I think that would be pretty sweet if I do say so myself. Here's my pen. All right. So basically, due to that contract, or due to him asking a trade, currently right now he's due $12.6 million guaranteed on his fifth-year option. So he's an expensive offensive tackle, still young, has a lot left in the tank, but eventually he's going to be looking for an extension. It probably won't be a big extension, but we all know offensive linemen are hard to find nowadays. And when you do find him, and he's a guy, you want to lock him up for as much as possible and for as long as possible. But he hits the open market. He might hit the open market since he would have to trade him. We will see more on that front as news pops out. Now we have more information. This one probably does not matter to any of you, but I think it's a pretty big deal for the National Football League and long snappers. Okay, this is massive. Not really. Like I said, not a big signing. You can care. You don't have to care. I don't care myself. All right, but per Tom Pelissero and Jason McCourty, who also played for the New England Patriots, he says the Patriots have agreed to terms to bring back long snapper Joe Cardona for his 9th season with the team, a leader in the locker room and second longest tenured player behind Matthew Slater. Tom Pelissero says the Patriots made Joe Cardona the NFL's highest paid long snapper on a 4-year, $6.3 million deal that's worth up to $6.7 million with incentives. Per source, Cardona got a record $1 million signing bonus and $2.6 million fully guaranteed at signing. Let's go, man. Let's go. Long snappers, obviously, nobody cares about them. Nobody even thinks they're a legit actual position on the football field. You think you just take a guy and put him there and see how well he does. No, these guys are actually scouted. There's a certain way, so many rotations on the ball and stuff like that. If you haven't watched Pat McAfee, he's explained it many, many times. But this is big news, man, especially for long snappers. I believe the Minnesota Vikings signed their long snapper to a massive deal. I think that was the largest at the time. This now beats that, I think. So Joe Cardona, longest or highest paid long snapper on a 4-year, $6.3 million deal. So here, hey, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, we did. We did. We re-signed. So the Minnesota Vikings also yesterday, they re-signed, or yeah, was that yesterday? Yes, I do believe so. They re-signed Austin Schlottman. Dude had to come in and ball out because of Brian O'Neill's injury and Garrett Bradbury's injury. Yeah, he's a center. So, yeah, he came in for Garrett Bradbury, did his thing. Minnesota thought he did well enough to bring him back for at least another season or two, which was a decent signing. It's more depth. We could use it, but we still need to clear up that right guard spot. We have to figure out what's going on. Are we going to keep Ed Ingram? Are we going to draft somebody? Are we going to get somebody in free agency? No moves have been made currently, especially if I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Nothing on our front. Yeah, so nothing on our front right now with any offensive lineman talk. I could see us taking one round 1, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we roll with a corner or a wide receiver, which there's speculation that we might go for a wide receiver, but I would really like a corner. Also, today, as a rule stated, let's get right to that piece of information. Let me cross these out. Bada bing, bada boom. The Minnesota Vikings made a pretty decent signing today. I do say so myself. Believe it's this last one. Yes, it is. Per Tom Pelissero, I like this, adding depth to the defensive line. The Minnesota Vikings have agreed to terms with former Packers defensive lineman Dean Lowry. Per source, Lowry started 80 games over 7 seasons in Green Bay and has had 15.5 career sacks. Most of those sacks came the last 3 seasons. You're basically, this guy, what Minnesota's getting out of him is about 35 to 45 tackles, somewhere around there. He might get you a sack every now and then, but this is just more of a depth piece, right? Because the Vikings still have Harrison Phillips. We still have Ross Blacklock. We don't need another defensive end because we just picked up Marcus Davenport, have Zadarius Smith. There's still news to be happening around him. Does he end up leaving? Do we trade him? I'm not sure. But you also have DJ Wanham, Patrick Jones, and more back there on the defensive end. So you're looking at D tackle, Harrison Phillips, Ross Blacklock, and now you've put Dean Lowry in. He might see some time because it looked a lot like last year we had 3, like a rotation, like where they would kind of get a break. You'd play a certain amount of snaps, you'd get a break, come off the field, next guy would go in. Next man up mentality is basically what it was. So I'm okay with the signing. If John's in here, do you remember Dean Lowry? How did he do for you guys? I mean, obviously his career stats are up here. Last year, I believe he only had like 30 or 42 tackles, if I'm not mistaken. Dean Lowry. Boom, stats. Look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, 43 tackles, 20 assist tackles, and a half sack last season. But his best year, technically, would have been in 2021, 42 tackles, 5 sacks. I mean, you could say his best year was 2019, but he only had 47 tackles and 1 interception. But I think the sacks kind of trump that. So Dean Lowry is a good addition, I think, for Minnesota. It's one that I didn't think that we needed to address, especially in free agency. Maybe the draft, maybe late in the draft, I would say. Don't we still have Jalen, was it Tyman? Probably butchered his name. I know I got butchered on the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate channel for saying his name wrong a couple different times. And guess what? I don't give a shit, okay? Sorry about it. If I don't know how to pronounce his name, don't have to correct me. Probably was just wrong, okay? But this is a good signing, man. Overall, 2 years, $8.5 million. I'm okay, especially for a depth piece who can just step up and do his thing. I couldn't tell you rules. It was a while back. It grinded my gears. I was like, okay, who are you? Like, do you know how to say his last name properly? And there were some of them that were wrong, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Kind of moved on. How you doing? Keep it moving type of thing. But it is what it is. That's what you're going to get on this YouTube game. A bunch of, men behind computers or women behind computers just talking trash. It is what it is. But you delete those comments, you move forward. Let's move forward. Speaking of which, the Lions decide to re-sign kicker. Yes, sir. The Lions decide to re-sign kicker Michael Badgley. If we can go look at his stats, I believe he had a decent year. I think it started off a little rocky, if I believe. Oh, okay. Yeah, not great. Okay, so his field goal percentage, 85.7%, tied 21st. He was 100% on extra points, so that's pretty decent. His longest was 53 last year, had 105 points. So not too shabby. You're going to get a decent kicker out of Michael Badgley. If we look at his career stats year by year, let's see if anything has kind of changed on that front. Yeah, no, he misses. Yeah, he misses a couple. About 3 to 5. About 3 to 5 field goals he misses a year. So you're going to get this, consistent production out of him. Nothing serious, nothing terrible. The Lions should have found a way to keep Matt Prater on their team, but, who am I to talk? Michael Badgley back with the Detroit Lions. Good for them. Also, we have another DB on the market. Shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. We like to have fun in here. The Patriots have announced that they've released defensive back Jalen Mills. Now, this move saves about $5 million. I believe he started his career out with the Philadelphia Eagles. And from what I remember with the Eagles, he was decent. But now he's with the last 2 years in New England. He had 2 interceptions last year, 31 combined tackles. The year before that, in 2021, 47 combined tackles. But in Philly, his last year in Philly was probably his best season. No. Best season tackle-wise was 74, 1 interception, had 1.5 sacks. But in 2017, 63 tackles, 3 interceptions. So he's a decent corner. Not the greatest thing in the world, but if you need corners, you need depth at the cornerback position, a.k.a. the Vikings, okay? All right? Somebody got to make a move. Because Jalen Mills is officially on the market. Saves $5 million for New England, and they move on. Probably looking to draft a corner if I do say so myself. There's a lot of them. This is a deep cornerback class. I think there's one projected to go at least in the top 10, maybe 2 to go in the top 10. I don't think that's going to happen, but for sure one of them, Christian Gonzalez, is projected to go in the top 10 from Oregon. He's an absolute dog. So that is a decent one. Yes, the Vikings also re-signed Greg Joseph just 2 days ago on a 1-year deal. I was pumped about it. During the year, you're like, what are we doing? We should get rid of this guy. And then he kicks a couple game winners. You're like, okay, maybe we just keep him around for consistency, a familiar face back in the building. Yeah, he's back with the Minnesota Vikings on a 2-year deal. Nice to have him back in the building. And now we got some more news. And somebody, if he's in here right now watching, not sure if he is, don't really care. He came in and said, can't remember his name, that apparently per YouTube or per Raiders YouTube channel, that he had failed his physical. And I was like, wait, what? Actually, because I haven't seen any news on it. Went through Twitter, scrolled through Twitter, nothing was popping off. Absolutely nothing was popping off. So I was like, okay, where's the speculation coming from? Where's this news coming from? Is it just a bunch of mumbo jumbo? And then today, not too long ago, about 6-7 hours ago, I see this tweet which makes me believe that that guy was full of shit. Okay? Full of shit. Jimmy G passed his physical with flying colors, I'm sure, and the Raiders decided to finalize his deal. The Raiders' deal with Jimmy Garoppolo is complete. Sources say Vegas officially has their new quarterback. Ian Rappaport says it was never in doubt, okay? They brought him in for a reason. It was never in doubt. He did not fail his physical. If he did fail his physical, that contract immediately voided, out the window, crumple the paper up, see you later. Jimmy G is good to go. He's officially a Raider. If you've seen the thumbnail, he was posted up on there holding his jersey. Never mind. I ain't even going to worry about it. But the Raiders officially signed Jimmy G. Whoever that guy was that came in here and said he failed his physical. What are we doing? Okay? Quit feeding me false information. I said I believe it when I see it. And I see it right now. Never in doubt, Ian Rappaport says, officially official. Jimmy G is the Raiders quarterback. No, it was not John. I would know if it was John. Promise. But it wasn't. I think his name was like Pete or something like that. And it wasn't Mark. Nope. Wasn't Steelers Nation Australia. I'll give him another chance. Don't worry about it. But don't come in here spreading misinformation. Okay? No, it wasn't him. But anyways, let's move forward. Jimmy G, officially a Raider, signed his contract today. He did not fail his physical. That is a big, put that in bold. He did not fail his physical. Okay, we were fed a bunch of mumbo-jumbo misinformation yesterday, but it's okay. I can take it. Moving forward. All right, some more signings. We still have a couple more to talk about. The Bills have officially released wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie. Not really sure how much this saves against the cap space, but there's another wide receiver on the open market. It's a good third-string wide receiver, if you will. Not really sure off the top of my head. I know his name was called a little bit last season. Not incredibly often. He's a return specialist, that's why. Return specialist, so that makes sense. 42 catches, 423 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, averages 10.1 a carry or a reception. But let's see. I want to see his returns. Let me look at his returning. So, he didn't return at all last year. What? Only in 2021 did he return. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Naheem Hines took that over. Okay. Hey, have a good day, A-Rule. Appreciate you. I will not be on tomorrow. That is also breaking news. Breaking news. I will not be on tomorrow. Was going to do the live streams for the XFL. It's maybe. It's still up in air, but I might be going to a buddy's house to hang out with some people that I haven't seen in a while. So stay tuned for that. If I'm not on, if you don't see an upcoming, we're not doing it. But if you do, we'll be 6 hours straight. I just need a little bit of a break. Just a little bit. Just a little, how you doing? Type of thing like that. But let's move on. Isaiah McKenzie released from the Buffalo Bills. Not too bad a receiver. We'll see you. What do I do then? All right. Hell yeah, man. Have a good one. Moving forward. The Bucs, another release. They have officially released Leonard Fournette. kind of seen that coming. It was announced that it was going to happen. They officially did that today. They also released tight end Cameron Brate. I'm not sure how much this saves. No specifics were given on the details. All I know is it does save them a little bit of cap space, but now they have to find a new running back. They still have Rashad White in that backfield. Tight end-wise, who do they have? Did they sign one the other day? Cameron Brate. Boom. How you doing? Dude, this guy has a sweet mustache. Dog. 20 catches, 174 yards last season. Not bad. In 2021, 245 yards, 4 tutties. Cameron Brate's a decent tight end. I think any team would be lucky to have him. He's a good number 2 guy, especially if you're going to run a 2 tight end formation like some of the teams do around the league. Cameron Brate definitely on the market. I will enjoy my Saturday. Absolutely. Absolutely. What happened? Did my concurrence go away? Brate is decent. Brate is really decent. These numbers, what is going on with YouTube right now? Let me go check. Because that just doesn't happen out of nowhere. Oh, look at that. Well, I don't know what's going on with my mic. I apologize. That was really weird. Is it still like fuzzy on your guys' end? Let me mute this thing. Okay, we're back. All right, Bucks released Leonard Fournette, Cameron Brate. Little hiccup there. I don't know what was going on, but we have moved past it and on to the Seattle Seahawks making another signing. I like this one. It's a decent deal, I believe, for both parties. Julian Love is on the move. Former Giants safety is on the move to the Seattle Seahawks per Adam Schefter. Former Giants safety Julian Love reached an agreement today on a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks per sources. Deal confirmed and negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Ryan Matho. Those two have been absolutely working their tails off this offseason. I mean, they're signing deals left and right. Okay, they're getting people paid right now, here today. Julian Love, if we look at his stats real quick, not too shabby. Not too shabby of a corner or a safety, 79 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, 5 pass deflections. This dude's amazing. 124 total tackles in the regular season last year, I believe, is what it's telling me. So, hey, you're getting a good this is a damn good deal for Seattle. They need help on the secondary. They got it with Julian Love. I don't know why my phone is not working. There we go. 124 total tackles. His best year by far. He's played 4 years with the New York Giants. He finds his way into a new home in Seattle, and he's only continuously gotten better. So what does that mean? He's just going to continue to grow and become the best version of himself, become the best player that he can possibly be, and I think Seattle got a good one. They had a good run last season, looked decent. Geno Smith, underdog story, truly incredible NFL comeback player of the year. Seattle's in good, they're in good hands, okay? Everyone's saying rebuilding. What are we doing? They got Devin Bush today and Julian Love. 2 pretty solid players, if I do say so myself, on the defensive side. Still not sure what's going to happen on the Bobby Wagner front. There's a chance that he has a reunion with Seattle, but after that Devin Bush signing, I'm kind of like, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Bobby Wagner finds himself a new home elsewhere, but Julian Love finds a new home in Seattle. Congrats to Seattle and Julian Love. All right. Yesterday, we talked about Jordan Poyer was a safety on the market, trying to find a new home. However, in the end, we found out that he wanted to return back to Buffalo. That was per Brandon Beane, the Bills GM. He signs back with them, and we have the final terms of that contract, how much it is actually, and we have a little kind of a layout of what the salary looks like for Jordan Poyer. Big signing here. This is per Ari Mirov. Bills re-signed Jordan Poyer to a 2-year, $10 million deal that includes $4.5 million guaranteed per source. He has another $2 million available in incentives. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this contract actually look like? Well, lucky for you, we got a pretty nice stat here per Field Yates. Jordan Poyer's deal with the Bills. $4 million signing bonus. In 2023, his salary will be $2.24 million. Joke. In 2024, his salary will be $4.74 million. Annual workout bonus of $250,000. Annual per game roster bonus $510,000. Annual incentives $1 million. A 2-year deal with a base value of $12.5 million and a maximum value of $14.5 million. I cannot believe Jordan Poyer got signed basically for $12.5 million. Absolutely mind blown by that. He's a fantastic player, dude. 4 interceptions last year, 63 combined tackles. In 2021, he had 93 tackles, 5 interceptions. Now, this past season, he was injured, had to miss some time. But dude's an absolute baller. Made the Pro Bowl. Should have made the Pro Bowl in literally the last 4 seasons. I don't understand how he went for 12.5. I really don't. Like, no other team wanted to pay him $12.5 million. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me at all. But the Bills get a familiar face back in the building, if you will. I'm sure John would have loved to have Poyer in the Green Bay Packers uniform. Vikings would have never happened, obviously, just because the sole fact that we have a lot of safeties. Josh Metellus, Cam Bynum, Harrison Smith, Lewis Cine. We're fine on that front. But John would have liked it. I'm sure Detroit would have liked it. A lot of teams. Absolute steal boxing. I completely agree with that. Absolute steal for Jordan Poyer, or for the Bills, actually. I don't know why he would have signed a $12.5 million contract. Maybe it was the best that was offered to him. But from what it sounded like, nobody really wanted to make a move, or nobody really wanted him, or they were probably just lowballing him. And he was like, yeah, no, Bills are going to offer me more money. So maybe that was the reason nobody wanted to pay him what he wanted. The Bills would at least somewhat agree with him, and that's kind of why he got his deal done. Shout out to everyone watching, man. Make sure to drop that like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. We're talking about free agency frenzy day 5. Lots has happened the last couple of days. I have never worked harder in my life. I literally have grinded. Like, I'm tired, man. I'm tired, but we continue to roll. We continue to have fun, especially when you are in the chat. Jordan Poyer back with the Buffalo Bills on a $12.5 million deal, maximum of $14.5. All right, John, you might like this one. The reason I say you might have wanted Jordan Poyer is because the Packers just signed former 49ers safety Tarvarius Moore. Not really sure who he is or how well he did, but if I had to guess, it was okay. Not really. Oh, my God. 8 tackles last year. There you go, John. There's your safety. It's all right. A year before that, 52 total tackles, 15 assists. He's a depth chart. He's a depth player. Okay, he's not going to start day 1 for you unless Green Bay sees fit. But Tarvarius Moore ends up in Green Bay. Obviously, not a big signing, but it's something to look forward to. No compensation on that deal. So moving forward, we'll get to some more news. We have 2 bits of information to give, and then we'll look at Twitter to see what we might have missed. Probably not, because I haven't really seen any notifications unless I'm just blind to it and just having a fantastic time, which I am. Shout out to all you. But the Chiefs also made a move on a safety, which, again, what are we doing? Why not go for Jordan Poyer? That would have made that defense spectacular. I'm sure Jordan didn't want to join them after losing to them the last couple of seasons. But they have officially signed safety Mike Edwards. Per Ian Rapport, the Chiefs are signing former Bucs safety Mike Edwards, source said, coming off his best season with 82 tackles and 2 interceptions. He now lands in Kansas City. It's a 1-year deal worth $3 million with a chance to get $5 million in incentives. Not a bad deal, I'd say, for old Mike Edwards and the Kansas City Chiefs. 82 tackles, 2 interceptions for this man. A pretty good season, if I do say so myself. Great production. You're going to get a lot of value out of Mike Edwards. He is a dog. He seemed to be one of the only good things that was happening with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, other than my boy Tom Brady, which you can't see right now because it's off camera. But the Chiefs get a nice one there in locking up Mike Edwards, safety, former safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right. We talked about Dean Lowry, I believe, so we don't have any more information. But that is basically all the signings that have happened up to this point so far today. However, we got to go check the old Twitter to make sure we didn't miss anything in this past hour, which thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It means a lot to me. And make sure to drop that like. Subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, just drop the like or hop on over to YouTube. It'd be much appreciated. But we've been grinding, man. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see what we missed. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone watching. What did we miss this past hour? Probably not shit, but here we are. Here we are. All right. Let's see. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. All right, we've seen that. Okay. The Bengals are hosting free agent tight end Foster Moreau on a visit. That's not too shabby. The Mike Gesicki deal, I believe we talked about it. Did I say how much he made? Yes, it did. Up to $9 million. So basically that deal for Mike Gesicki was 1 year, $4.5 million with another $4.5 million available in incentives. So basically, it said up to $9 million when I originally stated it. That's because it's 4.5 plus 4.5, $9 million. Okay, you guys can do math, so can I. Another thing, the Titans approached Kevin Byard about a pay cut, but the Pro Bowl safety does not believe his play warrants a decrease in salary. Byard has wanted to play for one organization, ultimately retire as a Titan, but the two sides are at a crossroads per sources. So we could see another safety on the move. I think he plays safety. We could see another safety on the move. That would be massive. He could request a trade saying, I don't want to take a pay cut. What do you mean? I'm one of the best in the league. Okay, I'm doing my thing. I've respected you as an organization. Have you respected me as a player? Doesn't seem like it at this point in time. I want more money. Please and thank you. Okay, so let's move forward. Kevin Byard might be on the move. Nothing's going to happen. All right, okay, so here's Cameron Wolf. Cameron Wolf tweeted this. It says, I'm told Titans all-pro safety Kevin Byard was approached about taking a pay cut recently and coming off 5th season with 4 interceptions in the last 6 years. He doesn't intend to take it. He always planned to spend his whole career with the Titans, but it appears ball is in Titans' court. So the Titans can either be like, well, okay, we're trading you, or they're going to give him either an extension or just keep the salary at where it is currently, if I do believe. That's kind of how it's laid out. So we might see a safety on the move. Kevin Byard might be gone. Let's see where we're at right now with this. Boom, 2 subs away from 240. Shout out to you guys. Make sure to drop that sub. Be much appreciated. Oh, yeah, the New York Jets we didn't talk about. They re-signed a punter, Thomas Morstead. Congrats to him on returning back to the New York Jets. Hopefully they get Aaron Rodgers. We'll see what happens on that front. Ooh, John, do you know who Rudy Ford is? It's a test. Do you know who Rudy Ford is? I'm sure you do. I'll wait for you to comment. All right. It just sucks because the chat kind of pops up late, so we'll be here talking about it. But the Packers, okay. Safety Rudy Ford returns to the Green Bay Packers for 1 year, up to $2.5 million. There you go, John. You got 2 safeties back in one day. You signed Tarvarius Moore, former 49ers safety, only had 8 tackles last year. Keep that in the back of your mind, okay? Rudy Ford comes back for a 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Packers are making sure to lock up that depth in their secondary and in that defense. Let's go. However, they did lose Dean Lowry to the Minnesota Vikings, so thank you for that. Oh, okay. Never heard of him, probably because he didn't see the field much. The Chargers. Chicken Parm is back on the menu, they tweeted. Says Donald Parham, Donald Parham Jr. Parham, sure. Tight end is back on a 2-year deal worth $2.65 million deal with upside, source said. So let's go, Donald Parham. Let's go, man. Nice signing by the Chargers right there. That was per Ian Rappaport. And here we are. Okay, Field Yates. If I could, you know what? I'm going to take my time and I'm going to put this on the screen for you guys so you guys can see this list. It's going to take me 1 second. Boom. Go over here. We'll get rid of this Devin Bush stuff. Ooh, nope. Okay. So this is just kind of an updated look at who is available still in the free agency market. There's some big big names. So I want you guys to kind of get a front row seat at it, and we'll kind of dive through it and where you guys think they might go or end up. So basically the same thing. Boom. Boom. All right, here's the updated list. Here's the update. As we wind down the first week of free agency, there is tons of talent still left on the board, including Bobby Wagner. We've talked about him a little bit. CJ Gardner-Johnson, that is. OBJ, Dalton Schultz, Zeke Elliott, Isaac Seumalo, DJ Chark, Marcus Peters, Frank Clark, Taylor Rapp, Yannick Ngakoue. If you didn't know, it's not Yannick, it's Yannick Ngakoue. Like unique. That's how it's said. If you don't know that, or if you don't believe me, he said it to Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show during training camp at the Colts training facility. Okay? So, blame Yannick Ngakoue. That's how you say it. I was saying it wrong all these years. But that would be a good piece for anybody to pick up. Bobby Wagner, his market's kind of dwindling away a little bit. There's still teams that would definitely want him on their roster for sure. Where do you guys think Bobby Wagner ends up? Does he end up back with Seattle? I don't think that's going to be a possibility now that they signed Devin Bush. I don't think so. This is kind of okay. Or OBJ. Where do you think OBJ is going? We talked about this yesterday a little bit. There's opportunities out there. He's not going to the Giants. That was reported today. The Jets are a possibility just because Aaron Rodgers, had that list of demands, but that was complete fugazi. Bullshit, if you will. Not real. But he could end up somewhere pretty decent. He just wants $20 million a year per room. That's a rumor, allegedly. Okay? That's what he wants. Bobby is going... No. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. You thought the Bears would pick him up. I did too, initially. And I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they decided to go to TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. Thank God. But I guess those two together are a decent tandem if I do say so myself. We look at Dalton Schultz, another tight end on the market, also with Cameron Brate being released. So there's a couple tight ends left. Green Bay. Go sign Dalton Schultz. John, what would you think of Dalton Schultz in Green Bay? Would you like that signing? I could imagine you would. I think it'd be smart. Dalton Schultz is pretty decent. Especially in Green Bay, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I would too. What is Dalton Schultz? Dalton Schultz stats. Yeah. He'd improve any team, I think. 577 yards, 5 tutties last year. In 2021, 808 yards, 8 tutties. And then in 2020, 615 yards, 4 tutties. This would be perfect for you, John. Perfect for Green Bay. That's who they need to sign. They have DeGuara, obviously, as their starting tight end currently. But if they go out and they sign Dalton Schultz, perfect. Yes, absolutely. Way better than Tunney in the last 2 years. Green Bay needs to go get this man. I'd be interested to see what the contract would look like. Because it couldn't be that big, but it'd be a decent contract for a tight end, I'd think. Or at least I would assume, anyways. But Dalton Schultz to Green Bay, that would be perfect. You also look at Zeke Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott was released by the Dallas Cowboys. I think we all kind of seen that coming after Tony Pollard's coming out party, basically, of just absolutely domination. Back-to-back 100-yard games. Dude was an absolute animal. Beast on the football field. Zeke, gone. Where does he end up? Carolina? No, they just made those 2 signings. Never mind. That would be an interesting one. New England. Huh? What about New England? They didn't sign a running back, did they? Not that I'm seeing. There's been so much that's happening, I'm literally just losing track of what the hell is actually going on. Even though I kind of remember a lot of it. No, because the Patriots signed the wide receiver. They got Juju Smith-Schuster. Texans. Yes. Okay. But they also have Dameon Pierce. We have to remember that. But I guess Zeke would be a nice, number 2. Good 1-2 punch there with Pierce and him and Zeke. Yeah, the Patriots didn't sign a running back. Okay, that would be a perfect signing. I think Patriots would be a good idea for Zeke. Because you know Bill's going to let him rejuvenate his career, obviously. Have no fucking clue who Isaiah or Isaac Siamalu is. So we'll leave him alone. DJ Chark, a lot of rumors of him going everywhere. Okay? There's rumors of him potentially landing in Minnesota, back with Detroit. If we look up DJ Chark potential landing spots, we're looking at I don't want to look at that. Okay. What's a good high quality? Boom. 3 teams which could pursue DJ Chark. Okay. Baltimore Ravens. That was a big one. DJ could really go anywhere. Baltimore Ravens are potentially ones that are looking at him. I won't read the whole spiel. Chark only suited up for 11 games last year due to injury. 502 receiving yards, ranked 1. That would have ranked 1 among Baltimore's wideouts this past year. Okay. So DJ Chark could end up in Baltimore. Ooh. Okay, talks of him potentially landing with the New York Giants. That'd be a decent signing. Sterling Shepard can never stay healthy. They just re-signed Darius Slayton to that, 3-year deal, I believe. Yeah, that was yesterday. Darius Slayton, boom, right there. 2-year, $12 million deal. Okay, so they retained Darius Slayton at wide receiver. So I could maybe see DJ Chark ending up there if I had to guess. That wouldn't be bad. Otherwise, you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. I'd rather have DJ Chark over Jalen Reagor. Just my 2 cents on the whole scenario. And he wouldn't cost much at all. Okay, he wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. But we got rid of Adam Thielen. We have Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne. There's talks of us potentially drafting a wide receiver in this first round. We've been linked to Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think is how you say his name. Butchered it. I know I did. Zay Flowers, I think I said. There was another guy. What is his name? From TCU. Don't know why it slipped my mind. But, hey, Minnesota could be a potential play for DJ Chark as well. Adam Thielen is still kind of searching his, what's open right now. He had a visit with the Carolina Panthers, I believe, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, he had a visit with the Carolina Panthers. Nothing really came out from that news. But I'm sure he's just exploring his option. I would really like to see him in New England. But after signing Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Marcus Peters. Ooh, DB. Bring him to Minnesota. Don't mind if I do. Byron Jones is also a DB that's available too on the open market. Oh my God. Frank Clark, Taylor Rapp, don't care. Yannick Ngakoue. Bro, for real. But he's so expensive. I think he wants his money though. That's the problem with Adam, right? He just got what? He was a $19 million salary this upcoming season for the Minnesota. That's why they had to release him. They had to get rid of him. Because you're not going to restructure that type of deal. They tried to restructure that contract, but in the end, it just didn't make sense. So they had to part ways with longtime Minnesota native Adam Thielen. He went to the Carolina Panthers to seek something. I'm sure it'll take some time. I want to see what happens in the next week or two, if there's any more news on that front, because it kind of seems as if he's going to be a guy that gets signed after the draft. Okay, because teams are going to have to evaluate their roster. What were they able to get? What weren't they able to get? And then bada bing, bada boom, sign Adam Thielen with how much money you have left available. But Adam Thielen, not much news is coming out of that front. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I seen that. I forgot to write that down. Yeah, Greedy Williams went to the Philadelphia Eagles. Not too bad of a signing. I can scroll all the way down, actually. Let's go see at the details of that contract. Because I forgot to write that down. For some reason, I was just like, oh, that was last night. Like, we won't have to talk about that, or I shouldn't talk about that. But definitely should. Greedy Williams, a dog. Where we are. Nope. We're getting close. Okay, there's been no compensation. But yeah, the Eagles are signing former Browns cornerback Greedy Williams. Wasn't he a first-round pick? Oops. I believe he was. Yes. Great replacement for CJ. So that means CJ Gardner-Johnson is officially going to be on the move. I want him in Minnesota so bad. So freaking bad. That would be perfect. That would help our safety position out immensely. Immensely. I'd be okay with it. All right. So those are basically, second rounder. Okay. Second rounder. Gotcha. So those are the, some of the talent that's left on the board, the bigger talent, the high marquee players that you're like, we probably should take a look at these guys. These are the ones that are left. There's still many more out there that need to be signed and find new homes. I believe, yes, we do. I want to say, I can look that up, actually. Nope. Okay, I'm just going to take this off this because Minnesota Vikings cap space. Let's see what we can get. Because I'm not sure over the cap. All right. It's saying we got about $2.6 million. $2.6 million. Or is that, since it's red, does that mean it's under? We can't be under. We had to be under at Wednesday at 3 p.m. So that is wrong. Over the cap needs to figure their crap out. Spotrac. I want to see their salary cap. I don't care about anything else. Show me the cap. We're definitely under. I'm not sure how much you would want, though. And it would have to be a team-friendly deal. Unless we clear up a bunch of more cap space. Well, which we are doing because we restructured Kirk's, pushed his money down the next 2 avoidable years. Restructured Jordan Hicks, restructured Harrison Smith. Was there another one? I can't remember. It's not telling me how much cap space we have. A lot of dead cap, though. Lot of dead cap. Well, it's not what I need to know. Okay, so we're what? About negative 1.7? That doesn't make any sense. We had to be under. We're under. So I don't know. I don't know. But he's going to want a big bag, and he deserves it. He's a G. He's a dog, if you will. But he ends up on the free agent market, and there is still no timetable on when he's going to get signed. Also, per Adam Schefter, this just happened about 10 minutes ago as we were reading those names off. Former Rams safety Nick Scott reached an agreement on a 3-year, $12 million deal with the Cincinnati Bengals per source. Scott helped beat them in the Super Bowl, and now will try to help the Bengals win their own. Let's hope not, because I don't want anybody else to win a Super Bowl before the Vikes. So everybody else who has won one already, keep winning. Just keep winning unless we get there. That's all I care about. Nick Scott finds his way to the Cincinnati Bengals. 3 years, $12 million. That has been basically everything that's happened today. We literally just went through a couple things I didn't touch on. There was a guard or two signed. I don't really care too much. Didn't know who they were. Didn't need to spend any time on that. We've been live for an hour and 20 minutes. This whole week, we've been live, baby. About an hour and a half. And it has been an absolute blast. I cannot tell you guys that enough. It has been so much fun. I've enjoyed every single second of it, and will continue to do so. We are going to go live, I think, for quite some time now. We're starting to get a little crew here, starting to get some views, and it's been so much fun. Couldn't thank you guys enough. We might be back tomorrow. Might. Big if. Probably not, though. It won't be the NFL news. It will be strictly XFL live streams. But Sunday for sure we'll be doing the live stream. Sunday night game. I believe it's the Renegades and the Brahmas, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I can actually check that right now. But that should be a banger of a game for sure Sunday, potentially tomorrow. Not 100% set on tomorrow yet. We have to figure out some things with buddies, see what they're doing, what their plans are. Yeah, Renegades Brahmas, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We will be live. But shout out to everyone who watched today. Make sure to drop that like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a fun day. I hope you have a great rest of your St. Patty's Day. Stay safe, stay smart, and drink a lot. Whoa! Out of nowhere. Drink a lot of beer for me. I will do the same. Not as much as you guys might. But make sure to have your green beer. Have a great one, and cheers. That was a big sneeze. Whew. Adios.